beautiful lie of love, Schopenhauer's darkest truth about desire and women. Love. It's the emotion that fuels our art, our music, our dreams. We chase it, suffer for it, and call it sacred. But what if love, as we know it, is not a promise of wholeness, but a beautifully orchestrated illusion? A mirage designed not by any one person, but by nature itself, to keep us bound to desire, reproduction, and pain? In today's exploration, we delve into one of the most controversial yet deeply illuminating minds in Western philosophy, Arthur Schopenhauer. With razor-sharp pessimism and profound clarity, he dared to ask, is love truly freedom, or is it nature's most elegant trap? If you've ever questioned the meaning behind the emotions that grip you most tightly, you're exactly where you need to be. The veil of romance. To Arthur Schopenhauer, love was not a divine gift or the answer to loneliness. It was a calculated deception. He believed that what most people call love is not born of freedom, but compulsion. A compulsion rooted in what he called the will of blind, insatiable force embedded in all living beings, driving them to survive, to reproduce, to continue life at any cost. The romantic gestures, the longing gazes, the passionate poetry, all of it, Schopenhauer argued, is a clever disguise. Love feels meaningful not because it is, but because we are wired to believe it is. Nature has equipped us with the illusion of love, so we will mate, and in mating, perpetuate life. It's not about the individual, it's about the species. This challenges everything our culture tells us. Hollywood, pop music, even classic literature, they all portray love as the ultimate goal, the answer to our existential thirst. But Schopenhauer's view cuts through that illusion like a blade. He believed that when you fall in love, you're not discovering something profound. You're falling under a spelone cast, not by the beloved, but by biology itself. To him, the emotional intensity that we associate with love is not a sign of its importance, but of its danger. The more powerful the feeling, the more likely it is to obscure our judgment, to cloud our reason, to enslave us. And that is precisely the point. Love, he argued, is nature's most elegant trap. Women and the will. In this grand theater of illusion, Schopenhauer cast women in a controversial but central role. He didn't see them as malicious or consciously manipulative, but as nature's finest instruments. Their charm, their beauty, their emotional nuance, these are not, in his framework, tools of affection, but of biological strategy. To be clear, Schopenhauer's view is not one of modern feminism or gender equality. It is far older, harsher, and less forgiving. He believed women were more closely aligned with the will than men. That is, they acted more instinctively, more emotionally, and more in service to the continuity of life. From this perspective, affection is not given, it's leveraged. Attraction is not voluntary, it's compelled. In Schopenhauer's worldview, a woman's power lies not in her physical strength, but in her ability to evoke desire and dependency. She doesn't conquer through force, conquers through need. And so, to the man who believes he's found his soulmate, Schopenhauer offers a grim counterpoint. What you're experiencing is not fatate's entrapment. You've been selected, not chosen. And the woman you adore, she is not a partner, but a vessel carrying the will's unyielding command to continue life at your expense. The trap of marriage. For Schopenhauer, marriage is not a sanctuary of love, but a tomb where freedom goes to die. In many ways, he saw marriage as the final act in love's deception, the point where the illusion turns into a contract, and passion calcifies into duty. Marriage, he argued, is nature's long game. It begins with the thrill of attraction, builds through the rituals of courtship, and ends in legal and social entrapment. The vows, the promises, the ceremonies, they are the velvet wrappings on the iron chains. Once married, the dynamic shifts. What was once voluntary becomes obligatory. Affection gives way to expectation. Romance gives way to responsibility. And above all, the individual gives way to the species. Schopenhauer believed that in marrying, a man unknowingly surrenders to a life not of his choosing, but of nature's design. He argued that the woman, having fulfilled her evolutionary role by securing a provider and protector, no longer needs to maintain the illusion. The mask slips. And the man, once drunk on dreams of eternal love, wakes up in a reality of financial, emotional, and psychological servitude. Emotional influence and control. What makes this trap so effective, according to Schopenhauer, is that it doesn't rely on brute force, relies on emotional manipulation. And this manipulation is so subtle, so insidious, that it often masquerades as love itself. He argued that women's strength lies not in domination, but in influence. They are not soldiers on a battlefield, they are conductors of unseen forces. A tear, a glance, a moment of silence, these are their instruments, finely tuned over centuries by evolution to guide men into action, sacrifice, and submission. This influence exploits the male instinct to protect, to provide, to prove worth, but in doing so, it often reshapes the man into something less than what he was. His ambitions are trimmed, his convictions softened, his identity molded by the demands of someone who may not even be fully aware of the power they wield. To Schopenhauer, this isn't a conspiracy, it's a design, not created by malice, but by nature. And the result is devastating. A man who believes he is loving selflessly, when in fact, he is being drained systematically. The path to liberation. So what, then, is the answer? If love is an illusion and marriage a prison, is there any hope of freedom? For Schopenhauer, there is, but it is not the freedom most people want. It is not the freedom to love more purely or to find a better partner. It is the freedom from desire itself. He called this denial of the will. To deny the will is to step outside of the game entirely. It means rejecting not just relationships, but the instinct to seek fulfillment in another person. It is a radical detachment, not a coldness, but a clarity, a recognition that the very impulses driving us toward love are the same impulses that lead us into suffering. Few can achieve this. Most people will continue to chase love, confuse sacrifice with nobility, and call surrender devotion. But for those who see through the illusion, a different kind of peace is possible, not the peace of union, but of solitude. Not the warmth of romance, but the cool, calm wisdom of self-mastery. Real-life illustration, a love that costs everything. Imagine a man in his late 30s. Let's call him David. He's successful, independent, and deeply idealistic about love. One day, he meets someone who seems to embody everything he's been waiting for: kindness, intelligence, beauty, warmth. The connection is instant, electric. Within months, David begins to change. He skips business trips to spend more time with her. He reconsiders moving for a job opportunity. His friendships begin to fade. His morning runs, his reading habits, his creative work, all of it slows down. And he tells himself, this is what love is: compromise. A year later, they marry, and slowly, the woman he idealized begins to express different needs, different demands. Her affection cools, her expectations grow. The relationship becomes less about mutual joy and more about duty: financial, emotional, familial. David finds himself waking up to a life where his choices are no longer his own. He starts to realize he is not the same person. He's not unhappy because she's cruel she isn't. He's unhappy because he gave himself away, piece by piece. Not through force, but through what he thought was love. This, Schopenhauer would say, is the will in action. The initial joy, bait. The passion, a tool. The marriage, the closing of the trap. And David, like so many before him, mistook desire for destiny. A different kind of wisdom. To live with Schopenhauer's view is not easy. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths, not just about others, but about ourselves. It demands we question whether what we call love is truly about the other personer, whether it's a mirror reflecting back our own longings, insecurities, and primal needs. It pushes us to redefine what it means to be whole. Is wholeness found in merging with another, or in mastering oneself? Is freedom the ability to choose whom we love, or the strength to love without needing to possess? These are not rhetorical questions, they're existential ones, and each person must answer them alone. Schopenhauer didn't offer comfort. He offered clarity. He didn't romanticize the human experience. He dissected it. And in doing so, he left us with a choice to know between good and evil, but between illusion and truth, between being led and seeing the path. The will, in his view, never stops, but neither does our ability to wake up. So while love may be the most elegant trap nature ever built, wisdom, the kind forged through pain, solitude, and ruthless self-honesty, might just be the only way out. If this journey through Schopenhauer's shadowed view of love has challenged your assumptions or sparked new insights, consider joining the conversation. Like the video if it gave you something to think about. Subscribe to The Will to Wisdom for more deep dives into the minds that shaped human thought. And drop a comment, do you think Schopenhauer was right? Or is there more to love than the will? Until next time, keep questioning, keep seeking, and never stop walking toward wisdom.